All right, I believe that we're live. Thanks to my tech guy over here. I am Sam Irvin here in Irvin Music Studio, my home studio in Asheville, North Carolina. My small business offers private lessons in guitar and trumpet and synthesizer, along with event entertainment options like classical guitar for weddings and corporate events, or string combos, guitar violin duets, or jazz ensembles, that sort of thing. And we also do some sound production projects like composition coaching and recording and mixing and my own creative pursuits. This live stream sort of falls into that third category. It's an opportunity for me to utilize the studio a little bit and carve out some time in my life to catch up with old friends or network with new, unfamiliar musicians in Asheville. And to get creative just for the fun of it, to make weird noises or thrash around with some rock sort of sounds, which I think is what's going to come tonight. I picture things getting pretty metal, probably. I think that's all I want to say up front, other than it's October 12th. If you haven't subscribed to the YouTube channel, please do that. I I hate saying that, but if a bunch of people do it, then I'll stop saying it. Today I've got a really old friend on. Not that he's an old man, but we go way back. I've known him for like more than a decade. It's about time to catch up a little bit. We just sort of reconnected recently at the J. Lloyd Funk Jam that happens every Monday at One World West. And it was really good to run into him. And so now we're going to chat for an hour and jam for an hour, such as the format of 8 Note. That's the name of the live stream that you're watching. 8 p.m. Note. No sign yet, but it's forthcoming. I'm picturing a really bright neon sign that might have like a big 8 and then a PM in parentheses lit up and then a big note, but also like maybe an AM that could also be lit up interchangeably with the PM, and I could do some morning shows too. I don't know. I'm okay, getting a shake of the head over there, but I feel like it'd be cool to maybe broadcast like my practice routine or something. 8 a.m. Who knows? Be on the lookout. Maybe a bonus ep at least is coming. But right now, what's coming is Ben New, a fantastic drummer for Dr. Bacon, and along with some other projects, and a really great guy. Why don't you come on down? All right. I feel like we've done it. This is successful. Yes.
Thanks for having me, Sam.
Hey, thanks for coming. Yeah, I'm glad you're here. It is good to see you after a while.
It is, man.
Yeah. So you're a drummer for Dr. Bacon. That's like your full-time...
Main steez. Yep.
Yeah. The main... But you told me of one, upcoming gig that you're playing with another band, like a super group sort of mashup. Do you do that often? Like, what percentage is Dr. Bacon? And
it's mostly Dr. Bacon. I do pick up side gigs every once in a while. I don't know, maybe a few a month. I'll randomly, with a week or so notice, pick up a gig,
Yeah. Is it mostly in that rock? So I told you a little bit before we started that I listened to some Dr. Bacon, and it was more on the acoustic, strummy, harmonica, Americana-y.
It started out as a bluegrass band.
Okay.
They had a stand-up bassist, a mandolin player, a banjo player, acoustic guitars.
So I think I listened to all of that stuff, and maybe not the stuff you're playing on now, which is more rocky.
It is. The band has evolved into more rock and roll over the years. But everyone in the band likes different stuff, and it kind of all comes through in different aspects of the music. We play still some of that grass stuff. We play some rock stuff. We also play a lot of funky stuff, some soulful stuff, some kind of like country sounding stuff. A lot of people come up to me after shows and say they're huge ska fans and that our music makes them think of ska.
It elicits ska, like, sort of
Yeah,
ethos.
so, I mean, everything we do is high energy though. That's kind of the thing that ties it all together. It's always fast and fun.
Okay, yeah. With a name like Dr. Bacon, I guess you got to bring that like heaviness. Yeah.
And that just kind of happened as there's been a lot of lineup changes over the years. Like I'm the third drummer, there's been 5 bassists, guitarists come and go. But I've been playing with them for about 5 years now, and 2 most recent members that joined about the same time have been with us for a couple of years. So we're staying pretty steady at this point.
Mm-hmm.
And the people that are in the band at this point, more of them than not are into the heavier stuff, you know.
Yeah, cool. Are you rocking a double kick drum? Is it that heavy?
I have a double kick pedal, yeah.
Yeah, right. Not the double.
I don't have 2 bass drums.
Right.
That just seems like a phasing and tuning nightmare, you know.
Yeah, I get that. Those are octaves. Let me double check our audio, because I have no. You were my tech guy earlier, but now we're both not looking at the levels. But it sounded great. What do you think? Can I get a second opinion?
We out here, yeah.
Yeah, we made sounds out of our mouths, and the mic is catching up. Yeah, the setup for this is just 2 overhead condenser mics for the drums, and your kick drum is mic'd, and one on the snare. So 4 mics for the drums, and then we've just got this single condenser mic for the interview, and I'm going through the head rush over there with my guitar on one channel coming out, and the grandmother that I'm going to do some synthy bass stuff on is coming out of another channel. I've got clip-on mics, and I thought about using those for the first time with us.
I've never used one.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
I should whip them out. Maybe we'll do it on the jam so we can talk during the jam. Like, that was great. It seems like, yeah, that's where I'm headed here. So
We shall see.
so to circle back, you said you pick up like last minute gigs. I know you did like a Black Sabbath tribute thing.
Yeah.
recently.
My buddy Ethan Heller has a residency Wednesday nights at the One Stop, and he has a rotating band thing too, where he's always there, but whoever he's playing with isn't always the same. And he does the concept of like each week he just picks a band or an album or a theme, and just that's what they roll with.
Mm.
It makes it, when you have a weekly residency, it's good to have something to give you the material to constantly be working on, you know.
Yeah, and to mix it up if you're playing the same thing every night.
Yeah,
Like, yeah,
because
that's not
it
always
can drive you crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Stop asking bands to play the same song. They don't like that.
Yeah. What are the sets like with Dr. Bacon? Are there hits that you feel obligated to play?
Yeah, there are a couple songs that everyone knows, you know, our Spotify most played, you know.
Mm-hmm. Which are probably what I listen to, and do they most of them harken back a little bit?
Yeah, the 2 that come to mind immediately are the song Pancakes,
Mm-hmm.
and that song is a Yo Mama joke in bluegrass format. The chorus of the song is, "Does your mama like pancakes in the morning? Because I'm staying here tonight."
Boom. Yeah.
And then Girls from Caroline, which is our other big hit, and they're both that strummy, upbeat, like old-timey feeling,
Yeah.
head bopping, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, nice. So you got the double kick pedal on the drum to bring it. I know you probably don't whip that out on those tunes.
So I use that in most of my playing at some point or another, even in those songs.
Oh yeah?
I mean, I have 4 limbs. If I'm banging on stuff with only 3 of them, I'm only using 75% potential, you know?
Yeah, definitely.
And most of the time I use my left foot to just fatten up fills, add in kind of flam sounding notes where there doesn't necessarily need to be, you know?
Okay. Like on the kick.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Or I guess on fills too, as you're heading through tom.
Or just throw in like a 4-stroke rough, land on some booga-daga, you know, like that kind of thing.
Mm,
Fans it up.
the
Yeah.
Yeah. Tui and I don't have a double kick yet, but it's on the list. I really want one. I got a new throne coming.
Sweet. Yeah, that one was
Tomorrow.
kind of making my bum go numb.
Yeah, I've got some like knee issues. I think it's coming from playing on that thing all the time. So pretty excited about that. I don't know, like my knees. I think that thing's so low that my knees are going like up a little bit. Right? Do you? I was
I
reading
played
about
down
it
a little
recently.
bit.
Yeah.
I also have so I recently got a pretty nice new throne. It's the Ahead brand Spinal Glide. And
That sounds nice.
it's shaped like a tractor seat, right? Like it has the nub that comes in between your legs, and it has a wide butt, so you can move your legs easier than just a round seat because it has like cutouts for it.
Yeah.
But it's still nice and comfortable. Has a backrest.
Okay.
The thing that's sweet
Really
about the Spinal
lounge.
Glide is that the two halves of the seat that you're sitting on are separated. So there's like an inch gap between the two halves of your butt cheeks, and your spinal column lands there.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, that's wild. And does it have a slight bounce, like a give to it? Like
It's pretty taut. Like it's not hydraulic. I have the screw kind. The last seat I had was hydraulic, and that was the end of it. Was like it would just constantly slowly sink. You know.
okay.
So
yeah.
I went back to the old school. But it does. They do have to move slightly independently of each other. So as you're moving your legs, it kind of moves with you. You know.
Yeah, that's cool. It's important. Like posture, I feel like is so much about like the longevity that you can achieve on your
Yeah.
instrument. To play, how long of a show do you typically play?
Anywhere from, I mean, if we're playing at a, oh, we lost the light.
I'm gonna jiggle it.
Sometimes on the shorter end at a music festival, we'll play like an hour to. When we're playing by ourselves, we don't have an opening act. We'll play for 4 hours in the night.
Whoa, that's a pretty heavy set. I guess with a break in between.
Yeah, but
middle.
usually we'll only do one break. We don't like to take more than one if we have to, you know.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Do you guys do the encore thing?
Yeah.
Yeah. Gotta milk it.
Sometimes it's planned. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes we are done and the audience does not shut up or leave. So like, yeah.
That's cool. So you're gonna see Dr. Bacon. You never know.
So it's up to you.
Cheer loud.
Yeah, like just last weekend we played at Shikori Hills, and we did 2 encores.
Mm. The planned one and then you got another one.
Yeah.
Nice. That's cool, man. That's got to be a good feeling. It's got to be a good feeling, like touring around and like, do you get to see a bunch of cities that you wouldn't have?
I
Like,
do. I get to see the best gas stations our interstate system have to offer.
definitely. Eat all that really nutritious gas station food.
Oh yeah. Get to learn the Sheets lookalikes all over the country. It's got like Rudders in Western Pennsylvania. Excellent sandwiches.
Okay.
This is actually some of my favorite thing about traveling is the food regionally, depending on where you go.
Yeah, let me hear it. What's the difference? Because
Well,
I'll
I
go to a
mean-
gas station, I'll look at the healthy stuff for like a minute and like sigh and then get something unhealthy.
Well, I mean, food and gas stations is everywhere the same. It's the same everywhere you go.
Okay,
But
you're
I'm
not talking about
like
gas station cuisine.
even just a step up from that into franchise fast food and stuff like that. Like in Ohio, you got Skyline Chili. What you know about Skyline?
Nothing. Yeah.
All right, so this place, you get a plate of spaghetti that's this big, and then they put this thing that they call chili on top of it, but it's not really chili. It's also not really meat sauce. It's this like cinnamon tomato meat goop.
Okay.
And then as much pasta and chili as there is on that plate, they put that much cheese on top.
Okay. So you're sitting down in there for this. This is
They
not
do
in the
have
van.
drive-thrus,
Yeah, that seems dangerous.
but I prefer to sit down and eat it for sure.
Yeah, definitely. So how does that contrast with a different region
All right, so like
offerings?
Nebraska, Nebraska's got a thing called runzas, right? And like in the South, we got biscuits and gravy,
Yeah.
staple food.
Yes.
It's amazing.
That's the word.
It's delicious and it's filling, right?
Mhm.
They have a very similar concept at Runza's, but instead of biscuits and gravy, it's Cinnabons and chili.
Okay, that is a twist. So a lot of cinnamon and there's the through line of cinnamon. In
Yeah,
these
so
chilies.
far that's been the connecting factor.
That's interesting. Maybe somewhat. Where was this one? Nebraska.
Nebraska.
That's
They have a
right.
couple of them in Colorado and Kansas and maybe Missouri, but they're mostly in Nebraska.
Okay, gotcha. A cinnamon roll with chili on, like a spicy cinnamon roll.
Yeah, apparently it was a staple public school lunch meal
Okay.
in Nebraska.
Somebody just had a lot of extra cinnamon.
How do we fatten up these kids real quick for real cheap,
Right. Yeah. School. I just remember the square pizza at school. Batteries. No, I don't think that.
You know those walking tacos that they started selling at Cookout?
Mm-hmm.
My high school used to have that as lunch.
Oh yeah. My school had like French fries and chicken wings and like all the good stuff. And I ate like powdered donuts and nutty bars like every day.
Nutty bars.
I don't know if you've eaten a nutty bar recently, but it's not good for you. Like those things are
Well, just because it's not
Plastic.
good for you doesn't mean it's not good.
they're so yeah. They're delicious, but man, they take it out of me. So let's talk about music though.
Yeah, okay.
It's a music podcast. Unless I'm leaving like the grand finale out. Is there a crazy other third chili offering?
Not that I can think of right now. I mean, you got obviously the Nashville hot chicken stuff. Yeah, I've had some mind blowing barbecue in upstate New York. You just never know what's gonna
Yeah.
surprise you.
Yeah, upstate New York, that's sort of still Appalachian, you know. Yeah. I had a couple of dangling threads. Dr. Bacon. When you're going out and playing these like last minute gigs, are they usually still in the rock style? Are you bringing that double kick everywhere you go?
Yeah. Yeah, I haven't picked up any kind of like jazz gigs or orchestral gigs like that, if that's what you're referring to. I played a few seasons with the Blue Ridge Orchestra.
Oh yeah.
But it's been a while since I've been involved with that organization, and I haven't gotten a call to last minute fill in or anything. So
Yeah. Yeah, I know. I think about doing that with trumpet. It was always fun to be part of such a huge project like that.
oh yeah, and I feel like it's good just to use that part of your brain. It's fun to. I don't have to count 137 measures of rest and then play 3 notes and then count 72 measures. Like I don't get to use that part of my brain anymore.
I don't know how fun that part of it
It
is.
is fun,
Yeah,
it's
just
challenging.
That's true, yeah. Sort of think like it's coming, you're like, oh, did I miss it? But you sort of have to keep faith that you are counting correct.
You either have to be really good at counting or really good at listening, or a combination of the two.
Yeah, definitely. I'm surprised you're not. I guess you're super busy with Dr. Bacon, but the jazz gigs, I'm sure you could improv all over that sort of stuff.
I've never really explored that outlet, honestly. I don't know too many people who gig in that world, so I just haven't had the opportunities, I guess. I haven't sought them either, but
Yeah, I haven't done any jazz drumming gigs because I'm not good enough at that.
let me see
Oh,
them
man.
flash marks. I'm all about it.
Yeah, do whatever. Weren't we in a jazz band together at UNCA?
Were we in a combo, a small ensemble?
I think so. Or one of the big bands with Rich Willie.
Oh, you played trumpet in the big band.
That's right.
Yeah. I played drums in the big band. Me and Ben Falcon.
Oh yeah, I just he's gonna be on November 9th. I just got him on yesterday.
Small town.
Yeah, funny. I don't think I'll run out of musicians though.
Oh no.
Pretty
For a
saturated.
small town, it's got mostly musicians.
I'll just start asking random people in the street when I run out. No, I want to do a season 2, when I've got worked out all the kinks, my lights don't flicker. You know,
Right.
have everybody through again. 8 p.m. season 2. It's coming. But yeah, Ben Falcon's. I know he's got like his trio, which you don't see a lot, like the Ben Falcon trio, or
Yeah.
whatever, like the drummers. Like,
The band leader, yeah.
yeah,
It's cool.
It's
we,
cool.
we love to see it.
yes, definitely. What you were playing earlier was blowing my mind with keeping the offbeats going as you were doing a really sophisticated, sort of full kit beat. The offbeats for me are still the hardest part. Keeping that hi hat on 2 and 4, yeah.
You gotta take the two halves of your brain and just twist them a little bit in different directions. Yeah.
Yeah, this one's gonna just do this. Leave it on autopilot a little bit.
You really do though. That's the thing that messes me up in my playing more than anything else is when I start thinking about what I'm doing.
Yeah, definitely.
More times than not, at the moment I'm starting like thinking about everything that this hand's doing or like what my left foot's doing, I'm going to mess up my groove. So the trick is to check out. Practice enough that you don't have to think about it.
That's what I was gonna say next. Because you got to think really hard when you're practicing, when you're, pushing that horizon, the new frontier of whatever you're doing. But then, yeah, during the performance, yeah. Do you maintain a practice routine, or do you just play enough when you're?
I'm pretty bad about it. I'll be honest.
That's okay. I didn't mean to call you out.
No,
You got very somber.
I wish I was better about it. I do keep a practice pad in my room, and I'll whip on a metronome and play some rudiments every once in a while. But I wish I had a more dedicated routine to it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I have a couple of students who played guitar or trumpet and then liked drums, and now I'm teaching them like drums as well. And so
It's just fun to beat on, you know.
it is super fun, and now you don't have to think about notes so much, and hopefully it helps with their rhythm.
Yes.
Yeah.
Ideally, every single instrument you pick up makes you that much better at every other instrument you already know how to play, you know.
Totally
Just
agree. Yeah.
adds to your perspective on music as a whole.
Yeah, the repetitive nature of drums like really helps think about like phrasing, I think. Like on especially at the sort of lower level like trumpet or guitar where you learn a little tiny song and you start it and then you finish it and then it's over. And so when they're learning on drums, they'll do like the beat, like kook kak, kook kak. Like no, you have to do that like 100 times. And then you get into phrasing and like maybe a little fill after 4 bars or a bigger fill after 8 bars. And really thinking about that, it just gives me a new sort of scope on when I'm writing a tune or whatever,
Yeah.
in that cyclical sort of fractal way.
And producing music on a computer also will make you think about that. If you're using a drum computer to sequence your music, you realize that a 4-measure repeating pattern isn't quite enough to make a song,
Right, definitely. Yeah, I know, but some songs, like Closer by Nine Inch Nails, just like that, so many songs just have that like
True.
kick snare thing going the whole time.
More and more in the last couple decades. I blame
Yeah.
I blame disco.
Oh man, I love disco. Have you heard this band Stereolab?
I can't say that I have.
Oh man, they're so good. Like really heady synthy stuff. They're like early 2000s, I think, 90s, 2000s, and they've got just disco beats in the background of all of this like sort of rock, punky guitars, but like really sophisticated synthy noise making over it.
Like proto Daft Punk.
Yeah, but Daft Punk is very disciplined and I think like very clean and organized, and Stereolab is a lot more like experimental
Okay.
and like flowery, maybe. Worth checking out. They're coming to the Orange Peel on the 15th, on Saturday. I'm stoked to see him. But that gave me a new perspective on the disco, sort of like
The old bouncy cats.
yeah, definitely. I could do that for a while. Is there any drumming that you don't like to do so much?
No, I won't even say yes, because the drumming that I don't like to do is still a challenge to me because I never play it.
Yeah.
And I enjoy a challenge. So, yeah, I mean, my first instinct was going to be country.
Yeah.
But it's really hard to just play nothing but a straight eighth note with your hand for 4 minutes straight and not like miss a beat, you know, like
Just on the hi-hat, just so I can't think of like what a country drum beat.
for instance, like one song that we cover in Dr. Bacon is King Turd by Sturgill Simpson.
Mm-hmm.
And my part for pretty much the whole song, whether it be on the ride cymbal or a hi-hat, is just
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's a lot more up than I was thinking. Yeah.
the whole time. It's like 4 minutes of just that. And it's just, that's a workout. It's hard, you know, like.
Gotta have the right posture going on.
So even though that's like a boring part that I wouldn't think to play myself, like, I enjoy getting through it, you know.
Okay. Yeah, you can pat yourself on the back for sure. If not, loving it in the moment. Well, speaking of like of just challenges in general, like I think that's a recurring theme on here with musicians like that. Like a few things that you've said, you know, being in that flow state for sure, that comes up a lot. And like the mood change when you're not practicing. You sort of brought it down. But
Well, so like my band rehearses 3 hours a night, 2 nights a week.
I mean, that's a lot of practice. Yeah, you're playing it down. I don't...
And we're gigging, 2 to 4 nights a week. The 1 to 4 hour shows. Anywhere, I mean, sometimes it's 18-hour days, leaving at 9 in the morning, driving all day, setting up, playing the show, tearing down, driving another couple hours to get to where we need to go, you know.
Oh yeah, definitely. Well, I mean, I got a bunch of questions about all of that. So let's list them out.
All right.
Okay, so
Hit me.
I want to hear more about just the ins and outs of like what the setup and sound check typically looks like. We can talk a little bit more about driving, like where do you stay, like logistic stuff. I want to hear more about. Do you ever find yourself like, do you guys take a week off or 2 weeks off? Or do you accidentally like or go to the beach or something, and do you find a mood drop in your practicing? You know, and then where I was originally headed when I was talking about recurring themes of musicians that are on the show, besides besides the flow state and the dropped mood when you're not practicing, being that musicians seem to like to like figure stuff out, you know, or like that puzzly sort of,
Yeah.
you know, mind. Have there been any challenges, like, let's talk like problem solutions, like what was something that was hard for you to learn or hard for you to do as a performer, and maybe what's a tip for somebody that wants to solve that problem?
All right. Let's start at the top of that. Load in.
I'll try and hold on to the other.
Yeah, I was trying to line them up. All right, so I play in a 6-piece band. We travel.
Wait, let's lay that out. So drums.
I play drums. We have a dedicated lead guitarist who also sings, and we have a dedicated bassist. Then we have a keyboardist who also plays harmonica. We have a lead singer who also plays trombone, who also plays rhythm guitar.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have a saxophonist. He plays bari and tenor and soprano. Or alto, not soprano, my bad. And he plays, he has a resonator guitar, he has a baritone guitar, and a microtonal guitar.
Whoa, okay, cool.
He also sings.
So how many singers are we talking?
There's 3 people that sing regularly. I'll hop on the mic every once in a while and sing some backups, but
Mm-hmm.
Nothing too serious. So yeah, four vocal mics.
Gotcha. Okay. So yeah, what is the load? Sorry, I interrupted you.
No. I mean, it was good.
Yeah.
That's good info to have. So now you have a scope of everyone's gear. That's 3 guitar amps, a bass amp, 3 saxophones, 5 guitars, a bass guitar, 2 keyboards, a case of harmonicas.
You mentioned Ableton.
The harmonica keyboardist has a impressive pedal board rig that includes an Ableton laptop. Yeah.
It's a lot of gear, but I guess everybody's. In my experience, everybody helps unload the truck together.
Ideally, yeah.
Hopefully, except for that one guy.
Now we've gotten it down to a pretty good process. So like, the 6 of us have all that gear, and we travel all together in one vehicle without a trailer. And that vehicle, at this point, we have I don't know what to call it. It's not a short bus, but it's like a city jitney handicap access bus. Like here we have Mountain Mobility.
I know what you're talking about. Does it actually have the ramp?
We have the working hydraulic wheelchair lift on the back right side of the bus, and that's how we load the heaviest gear. And when it's not actually lifting up and down, it's just like a nice staging platform between the outside and the back.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah.
But yeah, we can get that thing fully loaded and unloaded in about 20 minutes.
Yeah, that's not bad for that. Tons of gear. Then you're talking cables, and hopefully everybody's. You talked about upgrading to that mixer hopefully soon. That's like got some wireless capability.
Yeah, so we already have it. And
cool.
we've started using it in our rehearsal space.
What was the name of that again?
The Midas DL32.
Yeah, those things are pretty handy.
Yeah. It's a pretty sweet piece of technology. And it's got excellent preamps in it. So that it's just the sound quality's great.
Mm-hmm. And does it like Bluetooth to an iPad or something, so various members can like all.
Yeah, I mix
thing?
my in-ear monitors from my cell phone. It's great.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so cool that everybody in the band can be in control of their own monitoring situation.
It's pretty ideal.
Yeah.
Because communicating is sometimes difficult between engineers and on stage. Yeah.
More guitar up, but there's like 4 guitars.
Yeah, especially as we have, we'll probably use all of those 32 inputs if counting extra lines for sit-ins or whatever.
Oh yeah. All right, that's.
So 20 minutes to get it off the bus. We'll get it set up in another 20 minutes. Realistically, that's about as fast as it can happen. But we've got down to a science. Like everyone checks their line, and while that's happening, everyone else gets their levels.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have the same 2, like, verse and chorus of 2 very different songs that we play every time for our sound check.
Mm-hmm.
We know what it's supposed to sound like, so.
Yeah, that makes sense. Are you typically? This is why I put you on the spot. Are you on time typically? Like, are you hauling it some of the time because stuff comes up?
More often than not, we're good.
Traffic.
I honestly, I take on most of the responsibilities of like road managing for the band.
Mm-hmm.
I'll dig through the contracts, figure out when we need to be where, tell everyone what time we need to be at the bus. I do most of the driving, and we do pretty good. Very rarely late, mostly early, at least on time. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's where you want to be for sure. Early. Yeah, you were early here today. That was great. Thank you.
I try to be punctual.
Yeah, definitely.
And I know from experience, being responsible for 5 other dudes, you got to give yourself extra time.
Absolutely. Yes, I'll start on time one of these days, even when the guest shows up super early. I think we did pretty good today, though.
So the next,
Let's scoot, yeah.
You asked logistics about where do we stay.
Yeah, so but you play the show.
Yeah.
Crowd goes wild. You do multiple encores. And then the crowd's dissipating. Do you guys like tap hands with people? Like, are you available to sign or like
Yeah.
hang with everybody, drink a
Yeah.
beer.
I personally, I get a little reclusive right after a show. Like, I, I don't want to sound like a jerk, but I just like the last thing I want to do as soon as I get off of playing 4 hours of rock and roll, step off stage, is get swarmed by people telling me that was so sick, dude. Like, it sounds like such an asshole thing to say, but
No,
I appreciate it too. I don't take it for granted. I just it's overwhelming for me. I just like want to be in a dark, quiet, cold place for a couple minutes. You know?
I hear you. Is it overwhelming because like you're sort of stuck saying the same thing over and over? Like, thanks.
Yeah,
Well, you're off.
and I don't want to be disingenuous, you know. But
Yeah, definitely. But I mean, after I perform, often I'm having to talk to like, mostly doing weddings and stuff. So the bride and groom will come up and talk to me, and I'm like in outer space, because I've been like in this little world for like so long.
yeah,
And it's like very difficult to say anything normal.
right. Yeah.
Yes, thank you.
But
yeah.
in general, yeah, we hang out. This brings us to this next point. Like, hotels are not in our budget. We'll get hooked up by a venue or a very kind patron every once in a while, like maybe a couple times a year. We'll end up sleeping in hotel rooms.
Yeah.
Every other instance, it's either we're staying with a friend that we know in the place that we're playing, or we know a friend within a couple hours of there that we're willing to drive to, or we don't know anyone and we make a new friends and end up sleeping on a stranger's floor. That happens a lot, and
Yeah.
it's
All right. Interesting.
it's fun. Yeah.
Is anybody ever on that duty? Like you guys get to the gig and you know that you don't know anywhere to sleep? And
Yes.
somebody's like, I guess I'll figure it out.
Yeah, and sometimes we'll talk about it on stage. Be like, hey, we don't know where we're sleeping tonight. If you want to bring us home, like, holla. Yeah, that shit works every time.
Yeah. That's ingenuitive. Yeah. That's cool. I haven't ever like thought about that possibility. That's
Dude,
pretty
and
cool.
I've ended up, first of all, those people that are willing to take a bunch of strangers home and give them a shelter I couldn't do this without those people. It's insane how much I appreciate that kind of openness and willingness to invite people to your home. But I've made some crazy friends that way. Lawyers and Space Force missile technicians and
Wow, that's cool, man. Yeah, and all of your stuff is just parked securely outside in the van and in the whatever, and then you do typically, I
I
guess,
haven't had
your,
things stolen from us yet in my travels.
that's good. It's locked up. Right.
Yeah.
Just say yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Huge buckles, like pilgrim hats.
There was a time until relatively recently where we couldn't actually fully lock up our bus because the side doors were always hooked up to the battery, and as long as the battery was on, you could open it if you knew where the button was. I won't say where the button was, but it took us 2 months to find that button when we bought the thing. So.
Okay.
But we recently got like switches installed on our batteries. Because we had an issue of them getting drained all the time. That's a whole nother thing. Mechanic problems. You're gonna have to deal with it on the road. But
Talk about the last thing you want to do after a gig.
yeah, right.
Yeah. So what were you about to say? Sorry.
Oh, we just got these switches installed on the batteries, so not only does it solve our drain issue, but also now the battery operated door won't open if the battery's not connected. So
That works.
yes, it's secure.
Yeah. That's good for sure. What I guess what about like hot days or cold days?
Shoot, buddy, we don't have AC on that thing.
Oh, whoa. Okay, that's nuts. Tribulations, man. That's tough. I mean, I was thinking about the gear, not just you guys, but yeah, that's tough. But I think like I always freak out about my gear being in like hot and cold spaces, but I think tons of bands have it in their trailer, they're going down to Florida, it's like so hot. And I wonder how much wear and tear it really does do on the instrument.
Some things more than others. One thing I've seen happen. In my last band, the keyboardist had it was a Roland organ emulator. It was like a Roland Hammond, and left that in the van on a super hot day. And I guess that particular model of keyboard had a bunch of glue involved in the process of the inside the board, and all of his keys
Oh, no.
glued themselves together one hot day in the van.
You don't want that.
Yeah, I mean, basically, he couldn't fix it. You would have to like completely take apart and reassemble the whole thing. So
There's that. I'm sure he was not happy. Yeah. Now you've got a machine that makes one crazy sound.
That's one way to look at it.
Yeah, like a noise. Put it in the corner of the studio with a sign, like with a little memorial, sort of. Don't do this.
But yeah, so logistics, mostly by the wing of our seat. We travel comfortably in that bus. We don't have it built out or anything. It's just 2 rows of seats on the sides with an aisle in the middle, the driver's seat, and all of our gear's in the back.
Much better than a van, though.
It's
Sounds like
serious
a little bit
upgrade. And what we used to travel in just a van, no trailer, and what happened was that got totaled in my front yard during a storm. Just a windy, rainy night. A 5-story pine tree fell right on the end of the block.
Okay, that'll do it, man. Yeah, I had a car get totaled by like some rain one time, because I left the sunroof open
Oh
and it
no.
rained, and then I figured like water evaporates, this will fix itself, and it did not fix itself.
Just got all moldy.
It got all
and-
moldy, yeah. And then I finally took it in to get fixed or cleaned, and it was totaled, and so. Yeah, that was.
You shouldn't sit in here, bro.
You're probably gonna see a doctor now. Okay, so I feel pretty satisfied with the logistics question.
Okay, right on.
Or is there anything else that we're missing now? You make it back home.
That's how we get where
eventually.
we're going, where we're staying, how we do the thing while we're there.
We talked food. Any third chili recipe coming?
I mean,
to mind?
I can list some interesting businesses like Brahms in Oklahoma. It's like a steak and shake, but it's also a grocery store.
Okay. Wait, so there's like a drive-through, but also it's a grocery store?
Yeah.
Okay.
And sometimes you just want to eat a burger and drink a milkshake and buy gallons of orange juice and bread. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. So what I doubt I doubt it's that, because we don't have that here. What do you do like first thing when you get home from like a long trip?
Usually take a dab and play some video games.
Totally. What are you gaming on?
Most recently, I've been getting into Assassin's Creed Valhalla.
Oh yeah, is it good?
It's amazing.
Nice.
It's a huge game. And I'm kind of a nerd for that period of history, and it's like nice and peppered with historical accuracies, so I just think it's cool. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. I don't know what I'm doing next. This new Star Wars game's gonna come out soon. I'll probably do that again. Or there was that one that Miyazaki and George R.R. Martin collaborated
Elden
on.
Ring.
Yeah.
Did you play that?
No, I don't know if I've got the hours to sink into that.
Have you ever played any
Looks
of the Dark
big.
Souls games?
No, I haven't. Again, it seems like they're difficult from what I understand.
They are. I've played all of them. I've 100%ed a few of them.
Whoa, okay. Definitely.
But honestly, I would recommend trying it. And of any of them to start on, Elden Ring is probably the most forgiving. Even though it's like the biggest and most overwhelming, probably,
Hmm.
it's also the most forgiving.
That's cool. The story's got to be amazing, right? And all the
George R. R.
elements of,
Martin.
like,
I mean, it's hard to follow, and it's kind of convoluted, but that's a fraction of how hard to follow and convoluted it will, like, the Dark Souls stories are. You know?
Okay, got it. Brad George R. R. Martin to make it simpler.
Yeah,
That's pretty. That's saying something. Nice.
Yeah.
Okay, what was the next question? Do you remember?
Okay, we
It was
did.
logistics. Mood. Do you ever take time off of music and find yourself getting bummed out?
Yes. No. Usually, when I take time off of playing, I feel really inspired and get really excited to get back to it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, like we've said, like I play a lot, I rehearse a lot during the week, I gig a lot during the week, and taking like a whole week off of interacting with people and thinking about music sometimes can just be really rejuvenating. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I could see that. Did you go on a vacation recently?
We were actually off for most of the month of August. Michael, our keyboardist, got married and took a little
Congrats,
vacation.
Michael.
And yeah, so we had like 3 weeks off that month, and I didn't do much. It was great.
Sounds awesome. Yeah.
Took a little vacation to visit some family in Charleston, but that was just one weekend of those 3.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it's nice to just like clean your room and do laundry.
Yeah, for sure. I know. I've been trying to do just more quiet time. I talked to my last guest, Jason Moore, was last week, and he was talking about how do you be present during a gig? How do you keep that flow state going and not overthink it or whatever? And for me,
Rest.
I found resting the mind, doing laundry quiet for me. I always have a podcast or noise or a TV show, but like just being really bored is super helpful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like getting enough rest and actually eating enough, like not drinking so much all the time.
Yes. Pump those brakes a little
It's
bit.
really important to being able to, show up every day and actually put yourself out there. It took me a long time to find the happy medium of self-care, and I'm not a healthy person, but I'm doing better than a lot of people in my position,
Yeah, definitely on the road. I think, I mean, I'm like 31, and I think you're around my age. I'm not going to out you.
No, I just turned 31 in September.
Okay, yeah, cool. So we're in the same spot. I feel like you build all these skills for so long, and like those skills of like mental preparation, like organizing and just sort of knowing who you are and getting the job done. And then your body starts to be less forgiving with the alcohol. And so I think that sort of comes in sort of at the same time. You have to sort of readjust.
Yeah, well, and it's tough. Like in my world, almost all the time the payment includes alcohol. Like
Yes, yeah. People, I'll be on the gig, like at a corporate gig, at a very fancy occasion. People like the waiters and waitresses will come up and like offer me food like while I'm playing guitar. I'm like, I can't eat that right now. Or drinks. The bartender like it's some sort of secret. Like, hey, you want us to hook you up right now? I'm like, I can't just like sip whiskey over here. I feel like in this very, I feel too like, square. Like I need to be in that square box when I'm playing that stuff. It's always funny to me though to try to hand somebody food. Like that person probably didn't take any music lessons when they were growing up. Just has no sort of
let me just keep
idea.
playing with one hand and grab this.
Right, yeah. It's just like
Now that would be service.
I might try it as a joke.
I mean, I've had shots fed to me while I was playing the drums. Like
Nice. Beer bong. So that's a challenge in itself, but what are some other problem solutions that, even in just learning about, learning the drums, getting your skill set up?
Man, the biggest one that I can think of when it comes to playing music professionally, the biggest problem you're going to encounter is maintaining the relationship with the people you're playing it with.
Oh, yeah.
That's the hardest thing, is being with people so much and continuing to want to work together. And the solution is tough because, every hedge you throw into an equation makes everything exponentially more difficult.
Mhm.
But I found that not letting emotions drive your decisions and always communicating clearly, even if it's going to upset someone, is the only way to not mess that up.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah, I think any interpersonal relationship, that honesty is that vulnerability is difficult, but it's always the right choice because I think
Well, just
either
being clear about what you're trying to say. Don't like beat around the bush or make something seem like it isn't in order to please someone else. Just every project I've been in and a lot of the ones I've seen over the years that didn't make it because they didn't want to do it anymore together.
mm-hmm.
And the ones that do make it only make it because they stayed together. Like, longevity is the answer.
Yeah, they maybe found something to appreciate about each other, kind of keep that spark alive. Like, you're really making me angry right now, but ultimately, this is fun. I don't know. I've got a couple of musicians that I play with pretty regularly, but not like in the same way that where I'm rehearsing with them twice a week. I mean, that's
Yeah,
a
I might as well
lot
be
of
married to these dudes straight up. Like, I probably see them more than their wives do. Yeah.
time. Yeah. Yeah, man, that's a lot. I'm a little frustrated. I'm trying not to ask for a specific example because that's not fair to your bandmates. Uh, but but that's what I want to ask. Um, is there any maybe prior project that you could not name names and talk about like an interpersonal issue that came up, or is it just because I would imagine like we all go through tough times in life, and like if you're dealing with six people, the chances are that like one out of those six people are going to be having a hard time.
Yeah, and everyone else absorbs that vibes whether they want to or not. And everyone gets to the end of the rope at some point, and if that happens to more than one person at the same time, then it gets kind of hard to
Oh yeah.
work with. My solution is just to be on the page where you can see what moving forward looks like and just talk about that. But I can't give you a specific example. Like, these are problems that present themselves over months or years of working with people, and
Mm-hmm.
it's not necessarily a single thing that can be fixed. But I guess I'm trying to say that it's good to be aware if there are problems and to not freak out at solving them, and just approach every issue with a cool head and direct communication.
Yeah. Say it how it is. No sugarcoating. You don't think a little sugarcoating is good?
I mean, some people
like-
need it more than others. Like, I grew up
That's
in New
true.
Jersey.
That's right. You don't need any sugarcoating.
I appreciate honesty, even if it's harsh.
Mm-hmm.
But some people can't appreciate anything that's harsh. Like.
Yeah, I like to think that like critique is good, or sometimes I lean on people too far. Like I'll be in a band leader situation and not give enough direction because I just sort of trust the players to bring what they're gonna bring. But I feel like I often might be confusing somebody by not like necessarily laying out all the details or whatever I need to effectively.
I mean, it's always fun to keep people on their toes.
Yeah, I don't know if I gave you too much information about what we were gonna do here, but this has been a great talk. Thank you so much.
We
got into
didn't
it.
really give me any information about what was going to happen tonight. So
I
yeah,
trusted you, man.
I'm stoked, man. Yeah.
You'd be here. Yeah. Well, I believe it is 9 o'clock on the dot, which is perfect timing. We did start a few minutes late, but you know.
Hey.
If anybody's watching this at all, you can subscribe to my YouTube channel and I guess check out Dr. Bacon. Is there anything else that you want to plug that's coming up?
Ooh, let's see. Yeah, we're playing at the Graveyard Get Down in Carthage on Friday and Saturday this weekend, and then we're playing at 3.0 Fest, Guilford Downs in Greensboro. Then we're playing in Blacksburg, Virginia at the Milk Parlor. Playing at the Poorhouse in Raleigh with the Fritz coming up, and then at Ziggy's in High Point with the Mantras. It's gonna be some good runs.
Cool. The Fritz is great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice. Okay, cool. Well, thanks so much, Ben New, for being with me, Sam Irvin,
Stoked to be here.
on 8 p.m. Note. I don't have any walk-off music yet, so this is where we silently saunter off.
Bing, boom, bing. Ba-dum.
Okay, but you're muted.
Huh?
Okay, now you're not muted.
Oh. Put my ears in. Is that condenser still live?
These?
That one.
No.
Is that significantly louder in my ears than it was?
Is it? Oh. I lied.
That condenser still on?
Yeah, cool. It wasn't on OBS, but it was. Yeah. Yeah, alright. Sorry about that. I'm almost there.
Oh no, I was listening.
Oh, yeah. What do you think? Is this sound alright?
Yeah.
Alright, cool. Let's check it in a minute, too, to make sure, like, it's not totally out there noise.
That was a cool jam. Had some ebbs and flows.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Let's do more of that. I'm trying to drum overheads. Those are the only things that I have down before like heard everything else.
That's cool. I'd rather have more keep it staying, but
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Sorry.
it's fine.
Alright, what do you want to do? You want to start something?
Sure. Does your loop work? What pedal is that?
This
like
Velvet Overdrive?
like octave sound you got going on?
Oh yeah, the sub and up. I don't use the lowest one
Cool.
That's pretty cool. Just makes me bigger.
tough one to stick on. My bad.
From 4 to 11. I got my team.
Smoking my butt.
Oh, that's C?
Yeah.
I know. Yeah, I got the rocket sock with the hydraulic. Yeah, I'm pretty excited about it.
They're super comfy.
Yeah.
And the hydraulic lift worked awesome for years. It just eventually.
Years ago. I'm not gonna work it. Sorry. All the touring and such. Okay, let's see. Oh, I never. That's, the bass is a little loud. Also, the verb when you're singing is like insane. Maybe I should turn that down a little bit.
I mean, I mean, you should turn it down a little bit, I guess, but it does. This snare is so dead and tight that it's nice to have a little.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Is there a way to make this snare be less dead?
Dude, I mean, I like it. I think it sounds great.
Oh.
But just having a little bit of reverb is a good thing. I think.
Okay. Oh, you think that's good? The way it is?
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't. I didn't mean dead and tight like it sounds like cardboard. Like it's got some pop to it. You know, it's crack.
Yeah. Do you know why did my one turn purple? My one moon gel turn purple.
Oh, dude, that.
And the rest are blue. It's a mystery.
Did you open them out of the same pack at the same time?
Yeah.
That happens to most of them, as far as I can tell. But the ones that are exposed more, it happens faster.
Oh, yeah.
Heat and dust just do that to them, I think.
Yeah. It's gonna be easy.
Yeah.
To do all this weird stuff. Fuck down there.
Well, that's a bit weird.
I mean, we could though.
like
hard when
the
it's-
quietest thing in the mix.
Alright, I'm gonna equal them out again. Maybe something that's not 11 but not 4.
Okay. The classic.
got enough time for one more.
Cool.
Great. Good content. What's something that we haven't already sort of done? That's a bummer. Do you think we should go harder or softer?
Softer.
Okay, yeah, let's do that. Something like that.
that was really fun. I don't know if this mic is on. Yeah, it looks like it's on. So I think people. That's right. Ben New, thank you for being on with me.
Thanks for having me, Sam.
Yeah, it has been fun. That's nice. I'm sweating. I'm watching our delayed feed right now, and both of us are really moving our heads around a lot. So that's a good sign. All right. Yeah, thanks for joining us and watching 8 p.m. Note. I'm Sam Irvin. This has been New. For a chat and a jam, be back next Wednesday at 8 p.m. with another musician who I'm sure will be great. All right. Thanks. Bye.